I'm gonna go here to new chat, and I'm gonna go to agent. And I don't know how this is gonna go. So if you're watching this live, congratulations, because this may not make it to a clipped video later if this doesn't go well. I don't know. But I did create a prompt already. I'm gonna put into this because there's been a task that's been on my plate for a while, and I've been wanting to work on it, and I just haven't had the opportunity. Kind of keeps hitting the back burner, and as you're going to see, it's an important thing. It's something that our church really needs to work on, and so I'm going to do a little bit of my work on stream with you guys, and we're going to see if this is going to help me. And so the task that I have is I've acknowledged that my church's new visitor guest assimilation procedures is really lacking. We really don't have a good procedure for welcoming new visitors outside of we hope they feel welcome. They do get greeted on their way in. We do have new visitor cards that we encourage them to fill out. And that's kind of it. If they fill it out, we do have somebody reach out to them, but that's kind of it. We have tools. We're using Church Center for our church app. We have Text in Church. We have all sorts of tools that have templates and have functionality for new visitor follow-up that can be automated and do all sorts of things. We have a welcome desk that's really not being used that well. And so I want to kind of take on this task of creating a new A to Z new visitor experience. And so I was thinking, I was like, what could I demonstrate on stream for this agent to accomplish? And I was like, this might actually be a good task. So I have this prompt. I'm going to put it in. So this is the prompt. Develop a comprehensive guest assimilation strategy for my church. Start from the moment a new person walks through the door and guide them all the way to being fully integrated into the life and culture of our church. Here's our current setup. We have greeters, ushers, and a welcome desk, currently underutilized. We use Planning Center for people management. We use a church app. We also use Text in Church, currently only for scheduling bus rides. I want you to audit and recommend a full tech stack for visitor tracking, follow-up, and communication. Create a clear step-by-step procedure and timeline for guest engagement. First visit to plugged in. Suggest roles and responsibilities for volunteer staff. Outline how to integrate new guests into small groups, discipleship groups, and Bible studies. Draft a document or workflow chart that I can share with staff and volunteers. The goal is for every visitor to feel welcomed, follow up with, and show meaningful ways to connect and grow. Assume this is a church of 300 plus with room to scale. Again, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how this is gonna go, but man, if it could do this, this is gonna be amazing, and it's gonna be hugely helpful for our church to be able to meet our visitors and to have a policy and a procedure to be able to make sure that no one's slipping through the cracks. Because we all know, we've probably all been in that position where we've slipped through a crack, where we maybe submitted a visitor card and no one reached out. So let's see what happens. So it is setting up a desktop. It's actually setting up a virtual computer inside of this chat thread. I'll develop a comprehensive guest assimilation strategy for your church, starting with, and then it goes to the different things. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I want to see the whole thing. So this is literally the desktop. It's showing the thinking, and it's showing what it's reading in the background. And so I just want to watch this for me because this is fascinating to me. This is like literally just from the last week, which is wild. I'm going to be speaking at a pastors conference in Florida in October, and I'm going to be presenting on some practical tools for pastors. And the crazy thing is I feel like I can't even start preparing for it until late September because the technology is changing weekly. And so this wasn't even out when I studied this for my doctorate last year. And so you can see this is live, and I can actually interrupt this if I wanted to interject a comment here. If I wanted to, if I remembered something and say, don't forget that we want it to be digital. We don't want paper in this process. I could enter this in, and it would then revise its thought process and then adapt. So let's just watch this for a minute. And so again, this is ChatGPT's agent, and it is developing A to Z new guest visitor assimilation procedure for my church. It's going to provide a tech stack of all the different tools and technology. It's going to outline roles and responsibilities for volunteers. And it's going to present some nice charts and graphs for me to be able to present this, or to even just better understand it for myself. Okay, so this is fascinating. I'm going to keep this up on screen. I'm going to be watching off the side of my, while this is going, because again, this is going to take some time. Hopefully it will finish before we end the stream. I'd like for you guys to see the final result, but um, what I want to do while this is running, let me zoom in here a little bit. So it's actually running a terminal right now. It's creating a flowchart using Python to visualize the procedure. Okay. So okay, we're gonna let this run in the background. Let's go back to our looks like it's done. I think. Is this done? So this is the agent. The AI agent has completed this task for us. So it says, I'll develop this. It worked for 5 minutes. Here is the completed guest. So if you're just tuning in, we asked it to create A to Z guest assimilation process for my church for new visitors, including the tech stack, all the different technological pieces to it, the volunteer components to it, to create charts for me to be able to promote this or to better understand the process. This is the first time I've ever used it. So we're looking at this for the first time together. So here is the completed guest assimilation strategy and workflow. The report includes an audit of your current tech stack. I told it what we're currently using. A detailed step-by-step timeline for the first visit through full integration, volunteer roles, small group integrations, and best practices. And so looks like we have this report. I'm just kind of scrolling through this real fast. So okay, so this is cool. So, guest assimilation is the process of moving a person from a first-time visitor to a fully engaged member who shares in the mission of the church. Research on assimilation stresses that it is more than a Sunday morning greeting. It requires deliberate pathways that help newcomers feel welcomed, valued, and connected. Very true. I'm going to skip through this because I'm not going to read this entire document on screen. But you better believe I'm going to read this entire document once I end the stream. This document outlines a scalable assimilation strategy for a church of about 300 plus people using tools that we already have. Again, I told it what we already have. Planning Center, Church Center, and Text in Church. The goal is to make every visitor feel welcomed and to guide them into the life and culture of your church. So audit and recommended tech stack. Existing tools, greeters, ushers, welcome desk, volunteers greeting visitors, seating them, answering questions. So that's what the greeters do. Planning Center is people, check-ins, and workflows, your core people management system. This is just outlining the tools. Church Center, this is our congregant-facing portal for groups, events, and giving. Text in Church is currently being used literally just for people to schedule rides to church from our bus. But I do know, and I'm interested to see if it uses it. Text in Church has really robust new visitor profiles and templates where like a person can text I'm new to our number and it will like auto follow up with them in a week and like invite them to come to our visitor booth next week and different things like that. So I kind of know a little bit. Again, I was tasked with doing this So I kind of already knew kind of where we were wanting to go. So we're going to kind of test it and see how close it gets to where I think that we want to go. Recommended tech stack. An effective assimilation process requires capturing guest information. So categories, recommended tools, purpose. So guest data capture, planning center forms, okay, and check-ins. So that's interesting. I was kind of thinking it was going to suggest text and church there because I think text and church also integrates with planning center. Not 100% sure on that. Use a digital connect card, QR code printed on seat backs or signage that feeds directly into planning center. Families with children can pre-register, check their children in online to reduce stress. For those without smartphones, provide paper cards collected by ushers. Guest mode for exploration, church center app. Church center's guest access allows visitors to browse. We can enable that feature. That's interesting. I didn't know that we had that feature. So guest access to the app could be good. Follow-up automation. I'm interested in this. We currently really don't have any follow-up procedure except for a couple people who are tasked with like responding, which they do, but I think we can fine tune that process. So planning center workflows, set up workflows to assign follow-up tasks, send emails, and track steps. An example: send a handwritten note, followed by a text or call, invite to next steps. So that might be able to be integrated into text and church. Text and email communication. Okay, see right there. Text in church integrated with planning center. So that's exactly what I thought it was going to suggest. Use text in church to send automated texts, emails, and voice calls. It's automated workflows. And let's see, we got a long ways to go here, but if it doesn't already, I could probably literally tell this to outline, like tell me step by step how to set up these different workflows and procedures. Hopefully it did that for me already automatically, but I don't know that. Analytics and reporting, again, planning center. So it seems like planning center is going to be our main hub of everything, which makes sense. It's our people management. Online marketing, plan a visit, church website, text and church, and a plan your visit form. Integration summary. So here's the summary. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Analytics, step-by-step guest engagement process. Pre-visit, plan a visit, day 0, first visit. So this is now going to go through literally the daily what the visitor would experience. So on day 0, they visit. This is their first Sunday. This is what they would experience. Within 48 hours, this would happen. Midweek, next thing would happen. 1 to 2 weeks out, invitation to next steps. This is not taking place at all right now. So this would be a workflow that would send out an invite to maybe join our newcomer class or our foundations class, or a link to our various small groups or volunteer opportunities. That's good. I like that. Weeks 3 to 4, follow-up, staff review the guest's profile using Planning Center. So this is basically 1 month out. Activity notes, tabs. This ensures follow-up is based on real interactions rather than just generic messages. That's important. While it's good to have some automation here, we don't want to lose the personal connection in trying to connect with these new visitors personally. 5 to 6 weeks, membership and volunteering. Invite guests who have completed the newcomers class to a membership class. Explain membership expectations. That's good. Service involvement. Continued follow-up. This is now going to go through the roles and responsibilities. This did a lot of work. And again, I was going to do all this work. And so this is going to save me a bunch of time, because now I can go through and I already know there's things in here I want to change, and I'm not going to follow this. But this is a huge starting point. This is not starting at 0. This is a big jump start in this process of trying to create this process. This is great. I'm happy to see that this is its own category. Integrating guests into small groups and discipleship. There's an entire section here. Workflow and chart. Flow chart below summarizes the recommended assimilation process. First visit, team greeters, day 1. Not the best looking chart. I think that left a little bit to be desired, but it is helpful. Implementation notes and best practices. That's helpful. Be flexible and iterative. 3 to 5 weeks. 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 3 to 5 we meet people where they are, document everything, focus on relationships. Conclusion: a successful assimilation strategy helps visitors move from observers to family members who embrace the church's mission. By combining strong first impressions, intentional follow up, hospitality teams, clear next steps, robust technology, and relational connections, your church can ensure that every visitor feels known, loved, and equipped to grow. Regularly review metrics and feedback to refine the process and cultivate a culture where all members participate in welcoming others into the body of Christ. That's good. Man, that's what I was hoping that I would get from it. And so we can see all the sources that it used here. It pulled a lot of resources, which again, let's just think about this. I know AI can be a hot button thing. If you were tasked with creating a new visitor process for your church, what would you do? You would probably go online and research what other churches are doing. What tools are out there? How can you use the current tools you have to maybe accomplish some of these things? That's that's what it did for us. It just went and did the research. It looked at the various tools that we're using, what other churches are doing, best practices, and it compiled a nice starting point report for us. And so this, man, I think it did a pretty good job, and I'm certainly going to be using this. So this is ChatGPT's agent mode. I believe you have to be on the premium version to get this. Not I haven't. This just came out. I think I just got access to this from the last like 72 hours. So I'm going to continue to play around with this and think through some other applications that this can be used in pastoral ministry. I think that there's a lot of ways this could be used. And so I'm excited to, we'll probably do almost an entire episode on this because this is the newest thing. And so agentic AI that is going to go out and do stuff. You're going to start hearing more about this, like a lot. And so this is where AI goes from being informative to actually taking action and doing stuff. So I didn't have it do it here, but this tool would be able to research, put together shopping carts of if I wanted to book a date night for me and my wife to, get me to the checkout screen on a hotel, research the cheapest options for this or a restaurant gift options under a certain range, and then compile all these things. And then all I would do is go on and review it and put in my credit card information, and it's done. So it's going to start being more practical and more useful in its utility, which is going to be interesting. It's going to present a lot of new problems when you're using this. This is a tool that you need to be careful when using, because there's going to be new hackers are going to find ways to use this against you and steal credit card information and do all these different things. So do not give this your credit card information. Don't give it personal information, because again, some hacker could create a payload to inject into this, that while this is going through different websites, it could inject itself in, and it could do all sorts of crazy stuff. So this is a new tool. Treat it as such. Use it with caution. But this is brand new, and so with any brand new technology is going to come inherent risks, and so again, use that with caution. But man, so just to reiterate, we asked the AI agent to create an A to Z, start to finish guest assimilation procedure and process for our church. It did that. It outlined the tech stack, the tools that we're currently using, how we can best use those tools. It outlined the different roles and responsibilities of volunteers and staff, the timeline of events for a new guest, how we can implement this process, the flow chart for what it looks like, and then best practices, pitfalls, and things for us to be aware of. And so huge. This is a great resource. I'm glad I tested this, and so I'm going to continue to play around with this. We'll revisit this again in the future.